Hello there, and welcome back to the next section of this lesson. I am on page 37 in the textbook, and I know your page looks just a little bit different than mine does. Yours is turned the other way, so you might want to rotate your book to the side. I'm just going to zoom in on the area that I need to work on. But this is the model of the human eye. So I want to look at some of the parts of the human eye. You certainly do not need to memorize this portion. I just want you to get some practice with some pretty difficult vocabulary. I think it's important to work with vocabulary that's harder than what we're used to, because that challenges us just a little bit to improve our reading skills. So this is a very detailed diagram of the eye, and I do want to remind you that this page cannot be duplicated. I purchased the license for this model from the Lab 2016, so I had to pay for the right to use this. This is copyrighted, so you may not copy it in any way. Okay, the first thing I want to do is zoom in here on the eye itself. And I wanted to go ahead and color in the part of the eye that would be colored. And I'm going to use blue. This is not really a realistic shade of blue, so let's try another one. How about this one? So if you want to go ahead and color this with me, you can at least see the part of the eye that is colored. All of us have a certain color of eye. So we're going to color that right here, and that is way too big. So let me bring down the size of my pen. And this is the iris. This is the part of the eye that is colored. So let's go ahead and make that blue, or whatever color you want to use is fine. But that is the iris. And we're going to label all these parts. You don't have to worry about doing that. I do want to color some more of them just so that you can see them a little bit more clearly in the diagram. I want to color the lens, which is this large piece right here. If you have cataract surgery, this is the part of the eye that is replaced. With age, that lens gets cloudy, so they have to go in there and put in a new one in a cataract procedure. Let's look at the part in the front. I'm not going to get into the names just yet. I am so sorry. I had an alarm to go off. My phone was set for a reminder. I apologize to you. This part in the front, I'm going to use just a light purple color to color this thing, and we will name it in just a minute. I don't want to give away the names too soon. So the purple part there in the front. And then I do want to color this ring that goes around the entire model of the eye. I'm going to use orange for that. And I would recommend that you I've already used orange. Sorry, let's not use that again. I would recommend that you let me color this and then do your own so you can see exactly what I'm working on. This outer portion, I guess you could say it's the widest circle that goes around. This diagram's a little bit hard to read. I really wish they had colored it for me. And I started to do that for you, but sometimes I think this process is helpful to learn how to read diagrams. It teaches you to read for detail, to look closely at things. So that's why I didn't do the coloring for you. You don't have to color it, but I think it will help you to understand the diagram a little better. So this green area we've colored. And then there's one more thing, and it's this spaghetti looking stuff right there. And I'm going to do that in a shade of red. So these stringy spaghetti looking things, let's go ahead and color those, because those are very, very important pieces of this puzzle. And we will label all of these. So there is an annotated diagram. And let's go ahead and start putting in some definitions. I'm going to use just black ink to do that. And we're going to start up here in this first box. So I'm going to zoom in on that particular box, and we'll start right there under the word function. So I want you to write this in there for me. And I have to look at my notes because I really do not know all of these by heart, not the definitions anymore. So this one should say the colored part of the eye. And this is not a sentence, so I'm not going to use an end mark. I'm just going to put a dash. It controls the amount of light that gets through to the lens. And if I'm writing too fast for you, just pause your video and catch up. You can stop the video for as long as you want. Don't feel rushed to try to keep up. But this part should say what this says. I want you to copy that into your picture. Okay, and then moving down, again, stop the video if you need to stop it. This one should say the transparent, which means clear. The transparent area that allows light to pass through. It's clear. It allows light to pass through. I'm going to use a semicolon there. It refracts, and refract is a scientific word for bending. So refraction is bending. It bends light rays. Okay. And I think actually I want to go ahead and put the names of these as we're doing them. I first thought I would not do that, but let's go ahead and do that. This is called the cornea. Cornea. And if we back up to this one, remember this one is called the iris. The colored part of the eye is the iris. So I'm sorry about that. I changed my mind. I wasn't going to do that initially, but I think it will be better. Okay, moving on down. Pause the video if you need to. This one is going to be the pupil. Go ahead and put that in. Pupil. This was one of our vocabulary words. And the purpose, the job of the pupil, it allows light. I want to keep those in black ink. So, allows light to move to the lens and retina. And we haven't talked about retina, but we will in just a minute. So the pupil is this hole. It's that opening that allows light to pass through to the lens. Remember, the lens is that big orange blob there. So the pupil is that hole in the front. This is the part of your eye that looks black. If you look at your eyes in the mirror, that little black hole in the middle is the pupil. And remember, with cats, do you remember the difference between cats and dogs and their pupils? Cats have that slitted pupil and dogs have a round pupil. So the different shapes of pupils allows their eyes to do different things. Okay, the next one, I'll get this one and then I'll stop the video. I don't want these to get terribly long, but this one is called the aqueous humor. This is a little bit of a vocabulary word. Aqueous or aqueous, I've heard it pronounced both ways, and I'm making sure that I've spelled it correctly. Humor. Now this is not like something funny. Humor generally refers to liquid in the body. In the old days, they believed that different humors control different parts of our lives. So this is a pretty old word for body fluid. This is aqueous or aqueous humor. And this definition or purpose, the aqueous humor provides nutrients and oxygen. The eye is made of cells, so it needs nutrients and oxygen to the lens and the cornea. And there's another very important job for the aqueous humor. It maintains pressure in the eye. If you've ever had a glaucoma test, that's what the doctor's testing. The pressure in your eye has to be just right, or the eye will not function correctly. So the aqueous humor is what maintains that pressure in the eye. It is very, very important to the health of your eye. Okay, that gives you the first 4 of these. I think I'll stop after every 4th one, just so my videos are not terribly long. So I'll see you in the next one, and we'll get the next 4 pieces of the puzzle.